How's it going, everybody? My name is Gizmo, and welcome to Buried, a game where it's kind of like the Telltale games, where your choices make a really big impact, except there's 5 chapters, and this is made from completely different people. But it looked really interesting. I watched a video on it the other day, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. But of course, I'm going to try to choose different paths from what the person I watched, so it's whatever. We'll start now. I opened my eyes, and the first thing I wanted to do is scream. I'm flat on my back, and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember that, but something happened in my head. My God, my head hurts. And the ringing in my ear. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my heart has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not there. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat. But I've got to find the other members of my crew. They could be in danger. Forget the hat or search for the crew or search for the hat. For all I know, my crew can be dead at this point. So right now, to me, as selfish as it sounds, I think honestly, I know I'm alive, I think I matter more than the possibility of other people being alive. So I'll go for my own safety. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a few nearby trees and haven't been splintered or broken at the base recently. There certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. I see it behind a fallen log about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than habit, I walk over to it. I pick it up and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site. I don't like what I see. Continue. Interesting. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day was overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everybody? My head is killing me and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through quickly mental check to make sure all my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief. But it also makes me fearful because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what's happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Look the breeze or look at the truck. He could see the truck from where he's at. He can pick parts and be all like, "Ah, I don't see anything relevant in that direction." The debris, there can be anything buried underneath it. So, it would make sense to me in order to check it out. So, there are bits of debris everywhere. There are fragments of 5-gallon buckets I keep our work rags in. A loose chainsaw, saw chain. My dyslexia, I'm sorry. An overturned gas canister. Had there been an explosion, all of this fuel on the site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open. The indicator that he had been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Well, where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but the battery is already running really low. Not like it matters, the reception out here is crap. You said it yourself, the reception is bad. Yell out. Hey guys! Where is everyone? Tony, Dennis, Frank, Joe. But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring away. A few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them. But with my truck overturned on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking back up. What's that underneath the bulldozer? Oh my God, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable. It might just roll over some more. Might not be safe to get close and look at the same time. I can't just leave him there. Go look. Take your chance. You're alive. You can move. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? Are you alive? Holding onto my hat, I skip over the wreckage equipment and straining logs to get closer. I can see a bit more of the legs. The jeans soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent on a possible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. If you can get his body out to show his family, I mean, they deserve to have a last look at him, even if he looks absolutely screwed up because of the accident. My point of view. It's the same thing with Marines. No man left behind. I don't know. I just feel like that should be good. I try to pull him out, but he's not budging. That's when I see blood coating the ground underneath him. It's thick and fresh, so dark on the dirt that it looks black. As I'm tugging, I hear something crunch, but I somehow manage to pull him out. His legs are absolutely crushed and his stomach looks deflattened. Blood is covered everywhere from the navel down. His face was turned to the right when he was crushed. It looks like a broken plastic mask, seeping with blood and bits of shattered skull. Oh my God. I can't believe this. I have to turn away. That's when I hear a deafening creaking noise, and I am bashed in the head from behind at the bulldozer. Shifts lower to the ground. I roll clear at the end of my back, my eyes struggling to focus. I'm a little shaken, but I'm fine. Thank God I was wearing my hard hat. Good decision. Good decision. I quickly get up and dust myself off. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. What can I say? Hard hat was good. Hard hat was the good choice. As I walk through the stacks of logs where the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing, and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the what? Accident? Or, wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground motionless about 30 feet away. Yell out to him? You said it was Dennis, you know, so walk up and check on him. I don't know. He's just sitting there, not moving. I walk slowly up to him. Dennis, hey man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looks at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he says. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has a tough personality to match, but in this moment he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. An explosion, I think. That would make sense. It would be an explosion. I don't know. The crew is missing. I don't know. That's kind of like a lie. I think an explosion happened. But I also don't know. The crew is missing. That's the truth. But I feel like an explosion happened, I think. An explosion. Dennis says, yeah, I believe that. Why do you say that? I ask. Did you see something? He doesn't respond. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he is just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers too, I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he comes to work a few times looking like he had been in a bar fight the night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has the right to know. He does have the right to know. As hard as it would be to break the news to him, I believe I would personally be all like, Tony is dead. You were up front with Dennis about Tony. Dennis' eyes fixates on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow at the bottom, and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he said. I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It was like a flare of white light. It came right up from the ground, like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment, or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitatedly. This huge ball of light came right from the damn ground. What did it look like? A huge ball that came from the ground. That's what it looked like, he told me. So why you give me that option? Ooh. Where did it go? That's a good question. Where did it go? It just shot into the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure, he answers, but I finished about 10 trees of the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees, I asked? Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. You don't believe me? I believe him. I don't see why he would lie to his boss. That's bad. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But I'm being honest. It scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it all over. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. I'd like to ask if he's in a lot of pain. Maybe the adrenaline is coming through and he just doesn't notice it yet. After everything that happened, it's a possibility. I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet, he says. What happened, I asked. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. It must have got thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then that I notice a strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I said, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. It said to me, you know, he's looking for reassurance. So I don't want to just scare him even more out of the situation. So we'll be okay. It's probably nothing. Let's be realistic, I tell myself. It's might as well try to be empathetic. Out here in the middle of these woods, the ringing could be anything. Maybe a car alarm through the woods or something. Still, even my passive comment seems to reassure Dennis. He looks a bit calmer and more relaxed. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull out my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make the call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then I hear his phone go off. Behind the stack of logs, Dennis and I give each other a look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground abandoned. We look around for Frank, but find nothing, not a single trace. It's then I notice something really odd, a 10-foot wide hole from the ground right near where the phone was. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly cutting into the earth, wide but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw the light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters, and at that moment that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on. We might not be safe here. But the ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the clue went. No, let's check out the sound. Agreed. Let's get away from here. Things go weird. And you hear this ringing sound in the woods like boing! Tell me, do you go chasing that sound? Because I wouldn't. Sorry, crew. Don't hate me! I'm sorry. You decided to avoid the sound. With that, we turn and start walking to the west, in the direction that I'm pretty certain leads to the road. Continue. Oh, spooky. It's sort of embarrassing. I have been a logger for nearly 15 years, but I'm finding it easy to get lost in these woods. These trees are so thick in places the moonlight doesn't even reach the ground. It's easy to get turned around. My only hope is that I can find the overgrown dirt road that will lead us back to the highway. You sure we're heading the right way? Dennis asks. Pretty sure, I say. I turn to him and see that he's clearly in pain. It's in this moment that we come upon another one of those smooth holes. This one is even stranger because nearby trees also has a chunk cut out of them. The arc goes smoothly through the ground and then through the trunk, like a cartoon wrecking ball blasting through both of them. What the hell are these things? Dennis whispers to himself. He takes a step down into the hole, his boots creating imperfections in the shape like footprints on a sand dune. Step down into it, walk around the perimeter. Honestly, if I could choose, I would pull Dennis back and I would walk around it. I don't want to go down into a hole. But maybe it could be safer. Maybe whatever created the hole is out there. I'll step down into it, see what happens. I'll take a step down with Dennis into the hole. And if that's even what you could call it. As I stoop down to examine it, I'm amazed at how smooth it is. Even rocks that were underneath the earth have been sheared to fit the spherical shape. It's then that I feel the ground beneath my feet start to sag. By the time I'm aware of what's happening, the ground is giving way and I'm falling. I cry out in surprise and I can barely hear Dennis letting out a curse as we go down into the earth. Mistake. But if I would have went around, I would have been by myself, so I guess it's good to have some... I'm in a cave. Oh my. The fall isn't a long one, but it's when I hit something a few seconds later, it hurts like hell. The wind goes rushing out of me when I hit a sharp pain, and a sharp pain flies through me. What the hell? I said, once my breath is back. Beside me, Dennis is slowly rolling over to his feet. I look up and see the hole in the ground we fell through. It looks like about 10 feet over our heads. This is completely dark, but there's a small flicker of light further into the cave ahead of us. A solid wall, rock behind us. Looks like our only way out is to go further into the cave, or go back through the way we fell in. Dennis might not be able to boost me up there, but with his injury, I'm not sure how stable he is. He might drop me. I don't want to try to climb out. It's going to go bad. I don't think he's stable enough, so we'll head into the cave. I decided we better not be risk hurting ourselves trying to climb out. That's a 10-foot drop. So that's some distance. I decided we'd be better off not risking hurting ourselves trying to climb out. As we turn to head into the cave, I take a closer look at the light further ahead and realize it's artificial. We both start heading towards the instinctively, heading towards it indistinctively. As we step into the light, panic gently gnaws at me because what I'm seeing makes absolutely no sense. There's no longer a cave or a hole. It's a long, sparsely lit corridor. It's a massive corridor, in fact. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights everywhere, every 10 feet or so. I turn to my left and see there's a door, which appears to lead upwards to the outside. But it's locked tight. I push as hard as I can, but no luck. Dennis, help me with this, I say. He comes over and we both try to kick the door open, but it doesn't budge. For some reason, someone doesn't want people getting out of here. It looks like we're heading down the hallway. Nobody knows we're there. If there's anybody there, nobody knows. So we're going to tiptoe. We're going to stay quiet. We're going to be stealthy ninjas, to be exact. I feel like a ghost. I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We slowly move our feet, not making a sound. If anyone's in here, I want to make sure they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end, otherwise featureless place, I can see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute or two to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often coming from somewhere in here. I can look ahead of the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs, I ask? He stands up slowly and visibly, making an effort not to fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and just by looking at them, I get the sense of we're crossing some sort of line here. This may very well be no going back. Probably no going back, hate to say it. This is awesome. I love this. This is amazing. I like things that have some story to them. Story's really good. It's just, I love it. It's amazing. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel temperature drop. Dennis makes a few steps down before he is leaning against the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Pause to give him a break or keep up the pace. I can't tell him to keep up the pace. He's badly hurt, so that would be bad. Let's give him a little break. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to help him steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks. I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on the stairs, my mind seems to lock on the unknown fate of the rest of the crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit whenever I realize I might never get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, and he's been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank sinking his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis says, "Alright, let's keep going." We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out and search for the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to that ringing noise now. The door sits securely into the wall and looks just out of place down here as I feel. A silver light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks to be like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small and bold prints above the panel says, Level 1, Entrance Gate, Transport Sector. And there's a button with no label. It's got no label, so inspect the panel or push the button. No, just push the button. I give the button one push. One of the readings on the panel flickers to life. Outage. That's all it says, and then it goes dark. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind. Each label is meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged. Experiment in progress. Shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases slowly blinking light red next to it. It only empowers light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, that ringing and beeping or whatever, it gets a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's step as he lights out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going, I ask? It doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared, something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset, yes. But Dennis is never scared. What did he see? That's all I can say. What did he see? I don't know what it is, boss. It's like someone had left a radio on it crackling, but we don't have any radios at the site. I don't know. It was like something in the forest was moving. I give him a doubtful look as he casts his eyes onto the ground, frustrated. I know how it sounds, he says, but I also know what I felt. It was like walking into a funeral parlor, feeling death and gloom everywhere. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just a background noise. We took a few more steps, and I can now see where we are. It makes no sense yet. Another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easily to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. End of chapter 1. And that will be the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button, show me some support, and stay tuned for the next one. I'll be doing the next one very soon. I love this. This is amazing. I'm not the best reader. I know I'm pretty bad at it, but I like this. I like this kind of game. It's just really, I don't know, it just grabs me even like that. I'm just like, I like this. I want to keep going. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And until then, you have a wonderful day.